Hello, we're Group 4. We will be presenting about the analysis of micro-macro link between managerial value of reciprocity and firm performance. Our group includes me, Sumaita, Uchena, and Rajender. In our agenda today, we will be introducing the topic, the study that we did, the methodology that we used to find our report, the results, application, and last but not the least, the conclusion. To introduce the topic, I'd like to say that the organizations are increasingly recognizing the importance of interpersonal dynamics in achieving optimal performance. The relationship between managerial value of reciprocity, social capital, and firm performance can be understood through a micro-macro link that involves individual level behaviors, interpersonal relationship, and also the organizational outcomes. This research explores the micro-macro link between the managerial value of reciprocity, social capital, and firm performance. While uncovering this presentation, we will also know about the Guanxi networking and also the trust which comes from the social capital. In our study, we got to find out the practical implications include the reciprocity importance in building social capital and also the strategies for fostering reciprocal culture. In terms of theoretical contribution, we got to know about the understanding of the micro-macro link in organizational behavior and also about the integration of reciprocity in social capital development. The key terms that we found in this report are the managerial reciprocity, which means the extent to which a manager follows of reciprocity, as in repaying favors and benefits received. The next one we got to know about the Guanxi network, which is a group of people connected by reciprocal bonds or ties. And the last thing we will focus on is the social capital, which is any aspect of social structure that creates value and facilitates the actions of individuals within that social culture. I will pass on to the next group member. Thank you.
Moving on, I'll be talking about the framework, and the framework is broken down into three aspects: the managerial value, social capital, and the outcomes. So, under the managerial value, we have the managerial value of reciprocity. And then under social capital, we have trust and network ties. And under the outcomes, we have overall performance and competitiveness improvement. So we have some inputs flowing from the managerial value of reciprocity into the social capital, and as well from social capital into the outcomes and into the outcomes. So I'll take them one after the other. From managerial value of reciprocity, we have two outputs which go into the social capital as input. So the first one will be is tagged on our diagram as H1A, which is a positive relation between reciprocity and trust. The second one is the H1B, which goes into the network ties and has to do with positive relationship between reciprocity and network ties. So under the social capital, we have trust and network ties, and then we have output from those which goes into the outcome. So output from the social capital goes into outcome, and one of them will be greater trust results in better overall performance, which means that if there is trust in an environment, it means that the overall performance will be better. So we also have the from trust, we also have the H3A output, which goes into the outcome for competitiveness improvement. And so that has to do with close ties with network partners, resulting in competitiveness improvement. So it means that when you have close ties with your network partners, it improves the overall competitiveness in an environment. So we have the network ties. The output from that, which goes into the outcome as well, would be H3B, tagged as H3B, and it has to do with close ties with network partners, which result in better overall performance. So um, if we have better ties with or good close ties with our network partners, it will result in better overall performance. And then again, we have the H3A, which the H2B, which talks about the greater trust, which results in greater competitiveness improvement. So this framework simply means that when we have there's overall improvements in the performance and then competitiveness once there is trust and once you have close network ties. Thank you. Talking about the methodology that we have used in this work, we are talking going well, it's been broken down into three categories: sample, data collection, and analysis. Under the sample, we selected a diverse sample of organizations across the industries, and then we also collected data from managers and employees at various organizational levels. For data collection, we had a series of surveys and interviews to assess managerial values of reciprocity, social network analysis to measure social capital, and then objective performance metrics for firm performance. Under the analysis, we use qualitative analysis to explore contextual factors influencing these relationships. So we'll look at detailed insight on the next slide. This diagram shows the results of this research that has been done based on the methodology used on the previous slide. So we can see that under the managerial value of reciprocity, the outputs went into the social capital, which we broke down into trust and network ties, and then under outcome, which terms as performance, and then we know that from the result that having trust and close network ties will generally improve the overall performance and the competitiveness of any organization. Moving on, we're going to talk about the applications based on the results from the previous slide, and we have broken it down into three categories: practical implications, organizational development, and performance management. Under practical implications, we have categorized them under two headers: leveraging reciprocity and then enhancing culture. This talks about improving the culture in any environment or organization. And under organizational development, we have leadership programs which include reciprocity as core competency. And then we also have team building exercises to promote reciprocal interactions. So, meaning that we need to find team building exercises to help in promoting the bond in any organization. And then under performance management, we have social metrics in performance evaluation and aligning incentives with behavior, meaning you have to provide incentives to encourage good behavior in every organization.
So, having looked at different parts of the presentation and the study, like going through the introduction, the study that was conducted, the results that came out, we wanted to select a Canadian company which can benefit from this analysis of the micro macro link between firm performance and managerial reciprocity. We found out Bombardier, which is a manufacturer of business jets, and which was founded in 1937 in Quebec, and basically had its first flight in 1986 after having diversified into many businesses like railways, and they manufactured snowmobiles. So it's right now it's one of it's the business leader in private jet category, where yeah, their jets have been used by companies, individuals across the world. So looking at the application and the results and the benefits that Bombardier can achieve by applying the results of the study are multifold. Basically an aircraft manufacturer has to have a very close relationship with their suppliers, which requires a lot of trust. So one of the thing that was studied as a part of this research was improvement in network ties, the effect of improvement in network ties on the overall performance of the organization. So what we can recommend is that since an aircraft manufacturer has to have close ties with their suppliers, Bombardier, having seen a couple of supply chain issues of late, can basically practice improving network ties with their suppliers through managerial level intercommunication between different organizations. So this can really help them to improve the organizational trust, which will result in an improvement in overall performance. Second part, which is very important aspect and a result of this study, is the managerial reciprocity. So it was basically find out that in China, despite having hardships, despite getting no preferential treatment from the government, uh, despite having resource crunches, the small and medium businesses were able to perform really well because of something called as managerial reciprocity, some big where manager of one organization has had close ties and reciprocal ties with managers of the other organizations. So similarly, Bombardier can include this in their uh, in their managerial training, to be conscious of the fact that they have to have close reciprocal ties with their suppliers, with their partners. So this can impact the overall performance of the organization. Third one is forming business alliances. What this mean is that some meaningful partnerships can be forged with suppliers or with some competitors, which can help them to improve their overall competitiveness in the market. Last part, we conclude the presentation with the findings that were very important and that were found to be of immense importance for the firm overall performance. What the authors found out was that there is a connection between the reciprocity that managers have among themselves, the social capital, basically trust, network ties. They all have a very huge effect on the firm performance. So the this can be extrapolated to other organizations and other cultures where this is not practiced consciously, but that can be built into managerial training to make it more effective and help the organizations achieve an overall performance which is better. Thank you.